about KT. Kudos top a team that is a noble name in the league, if you will. They've been around for a long time, and they consist of a team with outstanding individual players like Hope and Hape, a deadly backline with the Assassins and Timeless, that if he's on a good day, you know, he can be one of the best tanks in the league, but if he's not having that good of a day, he looks a little bit separated from the rest of his team.
And the A team. What are they going to show us? As they have picked the map, they're taking us to Battlefield of Eternity. KT, what do you got? They've shown they're very happy to run a hammer comp. I would not be surprised to see the A team ban out at least parts of that, but they're going to start out with Immortal Race potential, removing the Hanzo.
Removing the Hanzo, if you don't plan on picking it yourself, is always a smart thing to do, especially when there's a player like Hope in the enemy team who plays that hero on a regular basis if available. That is also our... Wait, is that our first game of BOE? Did we see it in any of those previous sets?
We
did.
Didn't. No, we saw Cursed. Illidan being banned. KT have been watching these games very sensibly.
We saw one game where the Rainer was picked. Almost forgot about it.
Yes, we did. Excellent point. That was series 1.
So A-Team did pick the Rainer there?
They did. So now with Deckard Cain banned out this time, is the Diablo stolen away by KT.
So the story continues. Kaito not being on the Lord of Terror, and instead it's Timeless most likely to play on it. Unless KT made any more, how should I say, like role adjustments. Because what happened there in the last week of League play, we saw Timeless swap roles every now and then. He was on the Dehaka actually in that last game.
No, you're right. He sort of switched to melee.
He was the melee flex, yeah.
Oh,
and
that's the point. This might be permanent. We'll see.
Yeah, it was Hikari actually who played Tyrael twice in a row, and it looked pretty good. They won the games.
It did. Huh. We'll see. Sergeant Hammer comp coming in. Surprise, surprise. This is a KT classic.
KT, one of the first teams to actually apply the Korean Sergeant Hammer strategy to China, or in China. And certainly one of the teams that knows how to execute it very well. But if you're A-Team, you, at some point, if you don't ban it out, you will have to expect it. So you better think they are prepared for it. Otherwise, they might be in some trouble. Malthael, by the way, once again, doing great work in the past already. And they banned the Chromie for good measure. They do not want to fall victim to those long-distance poke snipes all the time.
Yeah, as always, with any comp, you want to remove its counters. And in this case, the counter to Sergeant Hammer is Chromie, so get rid of it. Stitches that used to be considered the counter, this has been repeatedly proven to be false. So as such, with Chromie Blaze, we still see the Stitches, but we're bringing a Rainer with it. So even if the hook doesn't land, that's still the option for the Slam build, that's still the option for the Putrid Bile, and Hammer's not the only hook target. Malfurion's still on the board. This is acceptable so far. However, this does allow the second damage dealer and the solo laner of KT to be adjusted to be people who can either escape or follow up onto a hook target very effectively.
Yeah, just because, you know, Stitches doesn't have the reliable hooks against the Sergeant Hammer anymore because of that siege engines. We see double main tank, by the way, with Tyrael and Diablo being locked in. So Hikari most likely still in that Tyrael, the hero that he played last week, and maybe Timeless still in the Diablo.
Intriguing. Interesting little mesh-up they've gone here. As the support is picked for the A-Team, going to be the Alexstrasza. This is just consistently awesome. It keeps working for them. So yeah, it's going to be Hikari on that Tyrael. So that is interesting. All right, so the solo... So I expect Tyrael will be treated as the solo laner. They could use Falstad for it, but I feel that's probably going to be how they run it.
Yeah, it all depends on how much they want to really invest in that Sergeant Hammer push early on, right? If you send Falstad in the top lane, what you can do is you have double tanks with a Sergeant Hammer, which is already good for zoning and peeling, but also the shields, right? The shields by Tyrael, the Justice for All, will make sure that the minion wave stays a little more sustained, allows you to push more as the Sergeant Hammer too. So there's definitely two ways they can play it, right? Falstad solo or Tyrael solo. All right, Tetra. I'm not sure what to think about this draft. I think it's a classic KT draft versus a classic A-Team draft, right? With the Alexstrasza, the Jimmy being deployed for Olele as well. Again, who do you think has the upper hand in terms of raw, like, immortal race?
In terms of race, I am going to kind of lean towards the A-Team. I think the Rainer is really, really good.
Me too.
However, positioning on the race, I think, is going over the KT, because I don't know how you're ever going to damage Hammer.
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to actually reach those targets like the hammer. I mean, Stitches, right? We have to talk about this real quick. Again, Stitches used to be the great counter for Sergeant Hammer, but now with Siege Engines, 12-second cooldown hook, 12-second cooldown. If the Sergeant Hammer plays it well and saves the cooldown, he can most likely dodge the hook every single time. And as you said, though, it's not just the hammer that could get hooked. It could be the Malfurion, it could be the Falstad. There's a couple of squishies.
Diablo if he's got low souls.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be difficult. Let's see who is going to be able to do it. It's all about the engages of the A-team and how well KT can set up, how good their positioning will be as we jump into game number 1. On the left-hand side, for the first time today, it is Kudos top with Hope on Falstad, Timeless on Diablo, TWT on Malfurion, Hikari on Tyrael, and Hate bringing out the Sergeant Hammer.
Facing the Hammer composition is, of course, a team that we're now well familiar with. It is the A-team with Jaina on the Jimmy. We have Olele playing the Phoenix, Bruiser on the Malthael, Saint Ukov on Alexstrasza, and Kaitu now diversifying his hero pool even more is now on the Stitches. I think he had like 4 different tanks that he played today already, really getting put to the test.
Yeah, if people are starting to have doubts about his hero pool, then they have already been dispelled. So, Sergeant Hammer going for the extra splash radius and splash damage on this siege mode as opposed to the ambushes. So actually clearly wants to be in siege mode for a lot of time, not going to be going for that ambush siege unsiege reposition style.
Yeah. Already, I think Kaitu actually wanted to hook the Diablo in there, but immediately used the Shadow Charge to get to safety. Now, something we also need to highlight here in the team composition of the A-team, especially after level 10, there could be some serious... Oh, never mind, there can't, because Jimmy didn't pick the level 1 talent I was thinking about. Like, on BOE, you can always go Exterminate, right? It's such good PvE damage, but if he had gone for the more normal route with Ace in the hole, then we could have had a Putrid Bowel Jimmy combo with lethal damage all across the board, but with BOE, that's not really coming into effect that much.
I mean, we can still Putrid Bowel for the Phoenix.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, you still got slows. Rainer can still go his slow build even without the ace in the hole at level 1. It's the Exterminator instead, and it will be completely acceptable and fine. As for now, though, you know what could also have worked? We could have in theory seen the Alexstrasza key builds with the the Dragon Breath slows. And just all in onto that. And that's pretty consistent slows. Hooking to tower range for Diablo once again uses a minion to escape.
Yeah, there we go. And there's not a whole lot the A-team can do to stop this push from happening. They're not even trying, to be honest, because they're actually applying some counter pushing in the top lane, right? With Phoenix and Malthael against one single Falstad, there's not a lot Hope can do to stop this from happening. But the overall value of these 2 pushes goes over to KT. Like, they're getting way more damage done than their counterparts.
Lane cleared nice and quickly by the A-team. Hook, this time not landing again. Kaitu, he's only really landed hooks on Diablo so far. Not found Kaitu Hape yet, which is good for Hape because he's about to hit level 4 and this will give him siege tactics. And then the hooking of Sergeant Hammer has ceased.
You could actually see a couple of cute moves, right? Until the siege engines are available for Sergeant Hammer, Diablo was body blocking those Stitches hooks or trying to intercept them all the time because he could Shadow Charge to safety. So really good team play between the Diablo and the Sergeant Hammer. So the Stitches value up to this point, not really there yet. But of course, Stitch is one of those heroes, man. All it takes is one shot, one good hook, and you're going to have that opportunity.
Siege tactics activated. Hammer immediately unsieges using that Unstoppable to reposition. Nicely done. Doesn't even use the boost. This is, by the way, with the dampened magic followed into amplified healing here. Amplified healing with Alexstrasza. Oh, just so good.
That's going to be so good for sure. Like, not only because of the extra healing her Q provides, but also the abundance in Dragon Queen form. You're going to have even more healing as well. He's going to be very hard to take down if he, uses all of his cooldowns wisely. For now, though, we see pretty good racing actually coming in from KT.
The A-team able to come out ahead, though, due to the fact that, well, they actually sent 5 people and now 1. Now you can see, like you said, Hammer is going to just siege against the enemy, but she's still in position where if they try to dive past, then the A-team will be in trouble if they try to defend. But they're just going aggressive. They're just going to try and burn down and win the race, which they will probably do. Kaitu dropping low, though, will get taken out. The abundance just short on cooldown, but there's still enough damage output here. Race will be won by the A-team, and grab the first immortal of the game.
This is really really good thinking by the A-team, right? They balanced out the lack of team fighting they had in the early game by just racing, right? They realized, you know what, we're faster. Sergeant Hammer is still a very slow hero, although she's looking mighty strong in the current meta. So they tried to put this Immortal race into their favor, and that they did. Let's see how much damage they can now inflict with this Immortal. Sergeant Hammer already in position on the bottom half here. Hikari maybe trying to go for a flank.
You mentioned Hammer being slow. The fact is, Hammer is a great Immortal racer, not because of the speed of the actual race, it's because she can do it safely. That is the exact reasoning, and an excellent point that you did bring up there. As we see Timeless cleaning out the Immortals best he can. Hammer might want to reposition soon, because the Immortal Stone will be coming soon. There it is. Siege Tactics, not timed well, just takes the damage. Yep. His front wall disappears as well. Hikari trying to be in between the hook, potentially, and the Sergeant Hammer. Stitches trying to time it. Look at that. Hape just holding onto it. He'll eat an Immortal Stun just to have Siege Tactics available for when Stitches hooks him.
Exactly. And that is exactly how you need to play it, right? You save your Siege Tactics for when it really matters. And I also wanted to highlight Raynor here once again with that Exterminate talent. It's just insane how much damage he can push out, especially when Inspire, his W, is active. It goes up to 100% extra damage, which also applies to the Give Him Some Pepper bonus proc. So Raynor, next to Hanzo right now, probably the strongest single target racer. Maybe Greymane in that list as well. But those guys are definitely the top 3 of assassins right now.
Maybe Seeker Li Ming if we're being super pedantic, but literally no one picks that. So, well, the Li Ming they pick, don't pick Seeker.
Bruiser.
As we see Hope, well, I just went super posh there. Hope tanking through the damage. Jaina, the anti-heal actually still applied through the abundance. As we see Siege Tactics used very quickly here. Stitches, though, doesn't have Gorge or anything like that, so it's going to be no hook here.
Oh, look at Timeless. He's trying to deny a good angle on the Stitches hook there, so that Hape in the back will remain safe. Hikari, though, he's far from being safe right now. He
survives, though, makes his way back to the rest of his team, drops a shield for Hape, but Hape goes down. Nice, consistent chase and aggression coming in from the A-team. It takes them ages to kill anyone, but they certainly kill people. Good hook. Beautifully done. Uh-oh. Hikari, Bruiser, heal, anti-healing, Moonfire. He gets out. That was very, very close. He needs to be able to port back to base here. In the meantime, Falstad is getting XP against no one here, so that's good. Yeah. But overall, like I said, it takes ages for the A-team to kill anyone, which is why I really like that Tenderizer pick from the Stitches. But when they kill people, it certainly works.
And also Bruiser very happy about being spared the disgrace that is falling to a Malfurion Moonfire, the most disgraceful and shameful way of dying in Heroes of the Storm. So the A-team now, as you said, with a little bit of momentum going their way, not only do they have the lead in structures, but they also picked up a kill. Really nice. And once again, look at the power of Jimmy. Not only does he boost in his own damage when it comes to dealing with Immortals with the Inspire, but he also amplifies Phoenix's damage quite a bit here. Faster auto attack speed, that's exactly what every Phoenix player wants.
There is the Fallen Shaman camp. Both teams now applying theirs. Falset's already empowering his, trying to put some pressure on bot lane. That forces the reaction from Malthael. Hook, Siege Tactics.
Yes.
Not happening. This is exactly what we should be seeing every single time, and why Stitches is really rough against Hammer at the moment.
That it is.
I like that speed boost onto the Siege, but onto the Hover Siege Hammer. That's really cool.
Alright, Hope, can he escape? Blind Hook lands, Barrel Roll should be there, no follow-up CC, and Hope is fine for now.
Yeah, actually gives him a very easy escape route. Able to get out of there quite nicely.
Lele, man, pulling Timeless out of this lane with the help of the mercenaries and the minions?
Timeless will be able to clear that up, though, but like you said, a lot of pressure has been applied. Hape, once again, re-sieging. Swift Retribution can be used if they need to give Hape that little speed boost, as we've already seen. And it's an attack speed boost as well. Slam. Patience.
They're trying to bait it out.
Boost. Micro. There's Siege Tactics. It's good. That's going to force them to unsiege.
That's going to force them to unsiege indeed. Hope trying to come in with a flank. Timeless a little late to the party. Can you find a good block on target? Very hesitant for now. Dragon Queen getting popped, and the turnaround is real.
Nice Sang, preventing the last rites, landing on Timeless, and they're able to survive, forcing everyone back. The Putrid Bar prevents any chase. Cleansing Flame being used. Kaito actually benefits from that a lot. Once again, thanks to that amplified healing, already healed, basically back up to full as they move back in to zone out the members of KT.
Yeah, Siege Tactics has been used, so now would be a good moment for Stitches to try to go for a hook, though. The Alex Rasa healing is massive, and there goes the hammer hook into it. The thrusters keep him safe for now. The target acquiring is good for the Phoenix. Massive damage coming in, and I think A-Team Tetra, I think they did it. They're pierced through.
They're trying, but they're getting turned on here. Abundance being used from Alexstrasza. Kaiju dropping low. They got the Immortal. But can they get out? Yes, they can. They get a turnaround onto Timeless. Looking for more. Siege Tactics is used just in time. Hook was not even on target, though, so it does not matter. But that's still a half-shield Immortal achieved by the A-Team.
Yeah, without losing any members. That was amazing. That was really well done by the A-Team. They forced out everything by KT. And earlier in that team fight, I think we could see how sometimes the team composition of KT is not that easy to execute. We saw the Sanctification and the Gust actually interfering with one another a little bit. The Sanctification was good, but then came the Gust. But when you have the Sanctification active, you normally don't want to Gust the enemies away, right? Because you want to turn things around with it. So they really need to make sure that these two heroic abilities are not interfering with one another in the future team fights.
It whiffed out their Lightning Breath as well. Lightning Breath was dropped because Diablo stood directly on the Sanct, saved it from the last rites, sent out Lightning Breath, and oh, they're really far away now. No value. This one's more value.
This one is good.
Oh, that's mighty good too. That's much nicer. Cleansing Flame already off cooldown, being used again just for the heals here. That's going to be the retreat from the A-Team.
That's the retreat, and it also buy enough time for that, keep tower defense line not to take any more damage. Now, the A-Team is ahead. They destroyed a fort. Top lane took some heavy damage, and they're immediately rotating down towards the bottom. Bruiser, though, with that mount speed.
Oh, it's dropped that. Hope gets a shield from Hikari, so he's able to survive. Jaina finishes off the fort. As they turn around, here comes the Purification Salvo here, going very deep. Sank blocks it, and Saint Ukov gets taken out here. Kaito now in trouble as well. He's very slow. But they're not able to chase him down. They don't really have any of their damage dealers near enough for the chase.
Yep, this is exactly how you do it. Now KT seems to have found the rhythm. They're using their heroic abilities much more on point. Jimmy, by the way, Raynor going for that Hyperion once again. I think we have yet to see a strong Raynor's Raider performance in HGC China. Hyperion seems to be the go-to choice for the most part. Now Hope is not going to get away.
Just one last right. Shield will save him, but not enough. They still finish him off.
That was a valiant effort, using the Gust there. You might as well use the Gust because look at that. 50 seconds until it comes back cooldown, 20 seconds until Falset is back in action. So until the next real team fight is going to break out, he's definitely going to have it back.
Fallen Shaman might be on the priority list for the A-Team to maybe steal away from their opponents. They've already begun to slowly and carefully move across the map. Hikari sees two members here. Now everyone is kind of showing here. Jaina and Saint Ukov. Look at that positioning. Kaito as well, ready for the hook.
Yeah.
Not the best actually hook positioning actually. Where he was standing there. It's a good chance that the terrain might have forced people to be on the other side of the wall for the hook, but it could have been possible.
Yep, very correct. I mean, that was just a really nice mercenary steal, and already look at that positioning. Like, Kaito zoning everybody out, has the future file available, and the damage raining down from Raynor and Malthael, it's just insanity.
Bruiser, moving away from the Immortal stuns, doesn't want to get himself caught out. As everyone from the A-Team pulls back, they are in the lead by almost a full level. They actually saved this fort as well. It's pretty low, but it's delayed. Now, are they going to try and take a fight, or are they going to maybe see if they can do a Fallen Shaman count? Let's say they're going to try and move in and just get the Immortal straight away. Lightning Breath is used, mostly getting Olele and Jaina here, the two damage dealers, which is good. Kaito, a lovely Putrefile, has created a great amount of zoning here, and they're able to take the halfway point. In comes the Cleansing Flame, doing a fair amount of damage, BFG not able to kill off anyone. Sanctification, but a turnaround could be good. Looking to move forward here. In comes the Alexstrasza, back from above here. Health bars starting to look a little low for KT. There's a good Gust though, landing to turn around, but immediately met with the Wind Buffet in exchange, pushing people into the boss side, which is going to force the retreat from KT.
Yeah, the retreat is real, but the team fighting here by A-Team was immaculate. I would love to see an instant replay. Although nobody died, I think this team fight was so nice to watch. The immediate turnaround by A-Team when they saw the Sanctification go down. Everybody retreated, nobody continued to focus fire anyone, and that's why KT wasn't able to actually get that glorious comeback. Now, look at that. The Immortals are getting healthier and healthier. And A-Team, so unusual for Chinese teams. They back off team fights when it's smart to do so. They're playing much more like a Western team or a Korean team. They're just playing it more patiently and more smartly as well. Look at that. Mercenaries, Impalers, although they don't hit hard, eventually they're going to drop down that top structure. And I think this is now all momentum for the A-Team.
I do like that both teams tried to disengage in almost the exact same way. The Hintel at the Mighty Gust used by Falstad and the immediate Wind Buffet by the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Nice little thing to see. So this is a pretty big shield Immortal. Once again, we're seeing Lightning Breath used as both a zoning tool and as a little bit of extra clear, giving some extra time to begin burning down that Immortal. Holy Ground is down, but it's inside the base, not going to make any difference. It was just used as an escape tool here. The Immortal, quite low shield now, begins to move in.
Coming in.
Already down as well. Try to, having to move around, taking a lot of damage. Nice route, BFG for the kill. Here comes the Purification Salvo. Once again, Sank blocking most of it. Tyrael with that value. Keep still goes down, but overall that kill is something. It's a kill for nothing, but the keep is such a big deal that it's 100% worth.
Yeah, it's definitely okay for the A-team, right? The A-team is going to laugh away with a nasty giggle. They might even turn this around here with a Fallen Shaman Cam and deal a little bit of extra damage onto it. This is not the worst possible outcome for KT, but it's still a crippling wound toucher.
And it is, but we've seen repeatedly that this is a map where anyone can come back, doesn't matter how many buildings they are down. So we do see Falstad flying into that bot lane. He's going to start working on the opposite mercenary, using that wingman. Nicely done. Okay. That will prevent the rotational steal attempt that could have come in from the A-team.
Yeah. It's also going to buy a little bit of extra time in that bottom lane. It keeps the catapults a little further away, and that is definitely needed right now because the shield on the core of KT is just recovering. But look at the A-team, man. They realize, you know what? We've got the 16. We are here to make a stand. We want to bind the enemy team to that top lane for as long as possible so they can't soak the 16 themselves. Also, though,
that is their plan. This will be a very efficient play of it. Falstad on his way. Nice siege tactics once again for the block. Easy peasy. That's not fishing hook.
That it is. Is that shish kebab?
I think that's shish kebab. I will confirm.
Okay, so the double hook attempt potentially coming in from Stitches. Let us double check here on the colors real quick.
That is a shish kebab.
That it is.
Hook on 2 targets. That is interesting. I quite like that.
I've never seen it in pro play, I believe.
I have seen it in pro play, but I can see the logic. I mean, think about it. Sergeant Hammer, what are the 2 ways that Hammer can block a hook? 1, siege tactics. 2, have someone block it for her.
Okay, yeah.
And but the blocking for her has been happening a lot. Well, Shish Kebab completely shuts that down. If Hammer's expecting to have the hook blocked away from her, then that could work. Also, it's a good point-blank stun. If you drop a hook onto someone right in front of you, they are stunned for the entire duration of that hook.
Alright, so maybe the unseen hooks are the deadliest, you know? Just when Sergeant Hammer thinks, don't need to use siege tactics, you know, I got my big dibbles in front of me. Well, Shish Kickup is going to mind game the hell out of you. So a little bit of an exotic turn and a little bit of an exotic approach, but I really like to see the outcome of it. Choke point secured though. Here comes the Lightning Breath, but 18 pops the Dragon Queen. Gust onto a Lele, not used up to this point.
There's the Wind Buffet from Alexstrasza. They move forward. Anti-healing applied onto Bruiser. Immediately in comes the Cleansing Flame. Chasing down Hikari here is really the play. Turns back round. And they've been able to dissuade the members of KT away from this here. And they're going to, well, quite easily win the race.
Yep, Jimmy is doing his business over there, not only raining down terrible damage onto the neutral Immortal, but also empowering his allies. Falstad has to deal with those minions and the catapults, otherwise that's going to be some serious damage on the core already, but they desperately need to find a hold. Diablo getting hooked here, takes a little bit of poke damage, but should be fine for now.
Yep, came out the right side of the terrain to be safe. Stitches, once again, not knowing the hook, taking the risk of trying to get a lucky hook, but hook interacts with terrain very interestingly. You can sometimes have yourself rotated at the right angle to get it work, but it is really about where the hook angle is.
Exactly. And I really like the patience, once again, by the A-team. They realize, you know what, if... Oh, he's not trying to steal that one, Tyrael. Smart move. So yeah, they realize, you know what, A-team, all they need to do is wait for the catapults to force someone back, and then they're going to pull the trigger. Diablo, though, in the back spot.
Lightning Breath, last rites, will not finish him off. Sanctification again, every time. But here comes Salvo with the Putrid Bile down. Good damage, but Stitches still falls.
Yes, Stitches ends up falling, and Diablo lives. Although he was slowed by the Putrid Bile, the damage didn't even seem to bother him coming in from the Phoenix. Now, Hope still damaging it all by himself, and the rest is defending.
Yeah, Diablo was in the Sank when the Salvo came out, which allowed him to stay alive here. Oh no, that was the last right, sorry. No, the Sank
was before, but the Sank was good. It kept him alive before. It was golden.
Yeah, I guess that was just general healing in general. Oh, that should be dealt with. Falstad's currently dealing with bot.
There's only so much one bird can do.
He has boomerangs, so this will be a little bit of extra wave clear. Gonna zap the most important mercenary here. Angle himself so the boomerang gets max value. Not bad.
That could be a backdoor now at any given moment, though. If the A team, look at Phoenix's positioning. I think that's actually what they're trying to posture up to.
It's really interesting positioning by Phoenix, though. That's a really big wraparound. Looks like this was just an escape attempt.
Yeah.
Falling back, this is going to be a defensive play by the A team. One of KT's first immortals of the game, actually.
Yeah, that is the first immortal, but how much value can it get, actually? They needed so much time to defend their base that they already lost all the shields in that immortal. Double hook here, the Shish Kebab connecting against the 2 tanks, though. Unfortunately, those are not the targets you want to hook in, but still, a little bit of confusion, a little bit of mayhem cost here.
Big damage coming onto Kaito here as he pulls backwards. Here comes the Holy Grand Heroes. That's going to force Kaito to back up. Ook somehow, with the ability to hit 2 targets, hits a minion. And that's about it here. So we see them pull back.
5 versus 4, Tetra. Falstad is still in the bottom. I think this is where the A team decides to make a stand.
Here's where we can see something interesting. Right now, the A team, they are in a defensive position. Kaito is actually in front of his teammates, which is fine. Hook, once again, only finds a minion. But here is where you can actually make a really fancy play with Stitches, where you can use the helping hand hook with one of your allies standing directly in front of you so that they don't have to travel anywhere and aren't putting danger. If the hook then lands on the enemy, you still get the 8-second hook as opposed to the 12-second hook due to the hook cooldown reduction from helping hand. Finds Timeless and one of the mercenaries, they begin to try and burn him down.
Trying to burn him down. Tyrael immediately at the side, though. The 2 Diablo tanks, they're working together. Here comes the BFG, not doing a whole lot, but yeah. Tyrael is basically always at Timeless's side, right? They realize that once the hook goes through, they can always help him out. Here, Gus comes in.
Heals from Kaito, once again, amplified healing, keeping him topped up to full. Mercenary camp in a lovely position for them to clear before it even gets close to lane, thanks to those hooks.
It really seems like the A team is trying so hard to make a play, but since they can't really get it done repeatedly, they're actually giving away a lot of momentum now. Here comes the cleansing flame, though. A team in trouble.
Bruiser takes a lot of damage. Hook finds Falstad. That's a good target, but no one's in range to really chase him down. Bruiser gets a little bit of damage. There's too many enemies here now.
Too many enemies. The Dragon Queen has expired, and Bruiser on that Malthael is dangerously low in health. This is a team fight without a real winner, if you will. Both teams, they use long cooldowns. Lightning Breath no longer available, but I think if you had to give it to someone by any means necessary, I think I would give it to KT. Like, not having to face the Dragon Queen is huge, especially when it comes to the upcoming Immortal fight, which is going to take place in roughly 10 seconds from now.
Going to be a pretty big deal. This is really kind of down to Stitches now. With Dragon Queen gone, it's all about these hooks to maybe get a blow-up kill. Otherwise, they're going to have some serious trouble. Future File's knocked out for another 10 seconds. If once 10 seconds are passed, you can maybe get a good Phoenix combo, who is already beginning to position for a flank.
Yep.
But Hammer already getting that damage done.
It looks like A-Team is just trying to They're just trying to fake a little bit of attention here so they won't let it go for free. In the meantime, you can see Phoenix apply extra damage onto the top lane where there's still a weakened keep. So that's a very smart move, actually. And they also take the Fallen Shaman camp for more pressure.
They're giving up the halfway point. This is going to be a double mercenary camp push in the top lane. So it looks like this is going to give up the halfway point, try and fight. Phoenix should really rotate to his team.
Siege Tactics.
Looks like yep, Siege Tactics still able to block the hook. That will prevent the hook even passing through you, I believe. I think it just bounces it off. Not sure. Actually, no, it should just pass straight through you.
So how long can A-Team continue this 4 versus 5 without dying or losing team members themselves? Because look at Phoenix. He's once again posturing up in the top lane to maybe help out with that push. Because Falstad, I mean, Falstad easily has become this MVP, right? Without the globals, even Lightning Breath being used to melt it down as quickly as possible. But without the global of Falstad, they wouldn't have actually been able to hold this many structures. But now they won't be able to do so anymore. Olele with good map awareness.
Keep down. So this is going to be an immortal win for KT.
Yeah.
Barely.
Not a strong one, though.
It's going to be a very low shield one, like you said. Going to be pushing into tier 2s. Falstad is currently stuck at base, but he has global. It's not so bad. Even taking the Epic Mount for the extra speed.
Here we go. Epic Mount is definitely useful to keep all those lanes de-pushed. Fantastic choice in my opinion. We haven't really seen it a whole lot in China. Normally it's the wind tunnel. But here, once again, in that situation, you really need that extra mobility. And yeah, KT they can utilize. They can capitalize on this win. They're going to have to watch that Immortal gets burned down by Jimmy and his boys. And I think It's not even going to get both towers, really. Diablo, time is making a play.
Very aggressive play, but Kai2 going even more aggressive. Actually gets it. You could see the extra duration coming out there from the hook. Well, seeing as the hook was still technically passing through Hape at the time once the supple expired, Gus having to be used as the Sank. Sank blocks Purification Salvo. Bruiser needs to get out of here alive. He's not going to be able to, thanks to Holy Ground forcing him out of his original teleport spot. And that's going to be a kill. Immediate, none can stop death. Malthael is back.
Yeah, the wing buffet slowing the enemies down a little bit more. A-Team, they need to hold. Bruiser is back, as you said, because of that level 20 talent. That is going to be very useful. Kai2, though, the main tank, the main engager, is still low in HP. And right now, the A-Team with a clutch defense. They didn't lose the keep. That's all that matters. And on BOE Tetcher, although you have an epic mount Falset, it's still going to be hard to defend all the lanes all the time. Because look at that. Falset is not with them. The A-Team trying to make that flank. And Sergeant Hammer gets booked.
She was unsieged. No siege tactics for you. Hammer is down. Now Bruiser, thanks to that revive from the None Can Stop Death, chases forward, teleports. You can't holy ground me. He's 1v3. His team are barely catching up. Double hook from Stitches. Moving forward. TWT is dropping. Gust for the save. Teleport forward. Biolele looking for TWT, but he's going to take a huge amount of damage. Here comes the holy ground to try and counter, but he can't do it. Falset's already pulled back. There's no damage here. Lightning Breath to try and dissuade more than anything. Hook is dodged, and it's a 4 versus 5 to defend the core. Salvo comes back out. Everyone tanks through it this time, and this is now just a 5v4 on core to defend.
Tetcher Olele on that Phoenix has a second health bar due to that level 20. Can they make that core call a successful one? It's still 0-0 in this series. The first game could mean so much for a potential momentum swing, and it looks like they're able to pull it through. Lele. The core goes down to 50. Dragon Queen is here. Save Olele. Private Lele. He's the most important one.
The Sank was good, but the healing is better, and the A-Team will, in very close fashion, take game number 1. And the A-Team, they keep moving. This van has no brakes. It's either gonna cross the finish line or crash.
Wowie. I don't know what to say about that last team fight other than shish kebab value. First of all, you could see how much time it bought with that extra hook, right, on the second target. And as you said, the duration, because of that double hook, it doesn't stop at the first target. It might actually outlast the duration of that Sergeant Hammer siege tactics.
You need to hook from so close to get that value.
Oh, it was so close. And then Malthael body blocking to the best of his ability. And because, I mean, they didn't get the kills right in that last chase, but they kept them low. They kept them slow so much they couldn't even heal at the base. They had to defend right at the get-go. Everybody was drained, low mana, low health, and with a 1-man advantage and another great Dragon Queen by Saint Ukov, they just finished the deal. It was a great chase there towards the end. And A-Team, man, they look so focused, although it's their 7th game that they play. It's insane.
That was their 10th. That was their 10th game that they've played.
How do they even do that?
I don't know, but the fact is they still look fresh. They look fresh. They look warmed up, and a shish kebab win in HGC. Clutch.
Amazing.
So good. Just when I thought the Stitches was useless against Hammer, they bust out a shish kebab. What a play. I am so pleased. That is innovation. Lovely.
I couldn't agree more. And for the most part, you know, we didn't really see the value of that talent. I mean, I was starting to think in my head, like, I don't know, man. Stitch just seems pretty meh against Sergeant Hammer. But then, in that bottom half chase, where they went all the way through with multiple shish kebabs in one team fight, it was just a bliss to me eye. And I'm curious to see whether that's going to find some imitators, you know? Maybe in China and other Chinese teams, or maybe even in other regions, because I'm pretty sure this is a game that other teams across the globe should watch.
I mean, at this point, I think if the other teams in China aren't at least spying on that, it's just like, oh, and if that's not the reaction, then we're just going to tell, China's just going to show up at Eastern Clash, and it's going to be like, day 1. Oh, China actually got some wins. Day 2, Stitch is banned every game.
And at this point, Tetcher, there he is, right behind you. How do you get there so fast from BOE?
Good job. There was actually another stuffy there, but it got gorged. He teleported here after grabbing someone else previously.
Also, I mean, at this point, it really seems to me like the A-Team, they figure out how they want to play BOE, right? That's the second game we saw them on today. with that Raynor. None of the other teams seems to be they seem to be willing to rely on that hero, but the A team does, and they get great value from it. Alexstrasza, when are we going to see the first Alexstrasza ban against Saint Ukov here? Because this guy's on a tear, man. He doesn't miss a single cleansing flame. He misses no life binders. His Dragon Queen timing is impeccable. This guy's looking mighty scary.
That he is. That was still close. Wow, that was a